Hey everybody, welcome back to another Slime Fun filled episode with your host Boomer. I tell you, I feel so disconnected. I've gotten a whopping one episode done in the last 7 or 8 days. Been very busy, but we are back. We have a lot to cover. Today we're talking about Dynatech plugin and a lot of the new features. Let's get started. First things, we have the item bands. What is an item band, you say? Well, an item band is an item that gives you additional in-game features, such as the Healthy item band, 2 additional levels of health boost, and we have the Hasty item band, gives you 2 additional levels of haste. Yeah, baby, we're talking Instamine. Now, let's talk about the actual items and how these work. The item band manager. This is where you are going to add the item bands to your tools and armor, and weapons, of course, if you so end up with one of those. A couple blank runs, an ancient machine core, which is relatively cheap. The reinforced cloth, same thing, just 1 lead ingot and 4 cloth will give you the 2. An enchanting table. Now the one expensive item in here, the weatherproof obsidian, which means you need hardened glass, which is a reinforced plate. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this about a 3 in cost. All done in a magical workbench. Not bad. Now the 2 item bands. Let's look at the healthy item band first. 4 golden carrots, 4 nether stars, and a vex gem. And you say, oh, that's so expensive. If you can walk around with a 2-level permanent health boost on your item, and then you soulbound that item, this is forever as long as you log into that server. Or you're dumb enough to throw the item in a lava. Oh, put fireproof on it, or netherite it. It's never gone. You will always have it. The only way you'll lose it then is if you just spawn the item. The other one, and this one is a little bit pricier, is a Hasty item band. It's still 4 nether stars and a vex gem, 4 cobalt pickaxes, which aren't expensive. It's 3 cobalt ingots and 2 nickel ingots. So how does this item band manager work? It's like a vanilla anvil. You put in your tool, you put in the band, and it's simply like enchanting a diamond pick with efficiency 5. Plain and simple. You can do this one of 2 different ways. You can either put a vanilla item in there, or you can have the enchant. And just to show you, I'm going to go ahead and enchant this with efficiency level 5. All right, we're going to put it right in here, and we're going to put our hasty item band. And within 60 seconds, we are going to have an efficiency 5 haste 2 pick that we can soulbound, upgrade to netherite, and boom, baby, we have got the ultimate mining tool. Now, somebody might say, well, the 5x5 upgraded explosive pick is better. It may be. Maybe the 3x3 suits you. But here's the thing. You don't always use a 5x5. If you're clearing a large area, great. It works awesome. If you're clearing a medium-sized area, maybe you want the 3x3. Or you're going mining and you want to branch mine really quick. Well, guess what? We take this baby. Look at that. Efficiency 5 fast digging. Let's go over here and show you just what fast digging looks like without a beacon anywhere. Look at this. Instamine. It's the same thing as having beacon effects. Same thing as having a haste 2 beacon. And this is without going above. So there might be options, well, there are options in a game that lets you go above efficiency 5. This is efficiency 5 haste 2. And we'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's give me a soulbound Slimefun give. So we want a soulbound run. Oh, I gotta look for it under run. Darn it. Ancient run, soulbound. There we go. All right, let's drop the pick. Let's drop the pick. All right, that's the right pick. Yeah. Drop the pick, drop the run. Boom! Soulbound, efficiency 5, haste 2. And now we put this in a gear transformer and upgrade it to netherite. This thing is never going anywhere. We have this forever. All right, let's move on. Back to our band manager. Let's put in our chest plate. Let's put in not the Iron Man head, the healthy item band. So this is going to give us 2 additional levels of health. So let's take off my suit. My precious suit. Oh, I feel weird. I haven't taken it off in like a week. Wait a minute. I haven't played Minecraft in a week. All right. look at this going here. I can see other item bands definitely being made. I could see a knockback item band. I could see, on a sword. I could see any one of the potion effects for PvP possibly being added to a sword, or maybe, the sharpness on an axe for wood cutting. This definitely has some possibilities. All right, let's take this. Let's put it on and let's watch our hearts. 4 extra hearts. Nice. So 2 extra levels. 1.5. Okay. Or does it cycle? Let's see. Oh, I'm low on health. That's why. All right, everybody. So I did reach out to the dev and found out that currently is designed to require you to eat food quickly. Based on how it's set up and how it's working, it was the way that they had to make sure when you took the chest plate off that effect didn't stay permanently. I know they're looking at other options because I know they exist. I've seen it in other plugins where you can get that boost, and as soon as you take the armor off, the effect is gone. So hopefully we're going to have an update on that relatively soon. But the next thing I wanted to get in talking about, if you looked in the guide, there's a lot of references to Stardust. We've got a Stardust Meteor, a Stardust Dust, right? And a Stardust Reactor. And there's also that too. So how do you get Stardust Meteors? Well, you get them by geomining. So when I ran the scan, this is the Stardust Meteor, and I had 19 meteors in this chunk. Now, I'm going to tell you from a perspective of a permanent, ongoing power source, unless you are geomining relatively frequently, this is not a renewable power source, only because you can only get the dust from geomining. So I can take my 19 meteors and come over here to a grindstone, put them in, and get my Stardust. Now, it is a very powerful reactor. If you're ever, for example, you're in the end and you need a good source of power, this generates over 1,000 joules per second. It's 1024. So it is a lot of power in a short period of time. As far as crafting it, let's kind of look into the guy here. Ancient machine core, not bad. 2 advanced machine scraps, so that means you've got to take an advanced android and scrap it. Okay, not horrendous. Nuclear reactor. All right, so there's going to be some work in crafting it, and then 3 fire charge. So on a scale of 1 to 10, now we're talking, probably about a 6 or 7. Because a nuclear reactor needs a couple blistering ingots, some reinforced plates, carbon autocapacitor. So this one machine, part of it is pretty expensive. Not going to kid you. Okay? But you could take it in the end and plunk the sucker down, and it has a buffer too. We've got a 32K buffer. So even if something were to happen, you've got a good amount of buffering in there. So now that we've got our dust, let's head over to the setup. Now, I've also asked in the guide if this can be added, that the reactor, the Stardust reactor, it functions the exact same as a nuclear reactor, meaning if it is not surrounded by water and it is not surrounded or doesn't have coolant, it's going to explode. Now, in the guide, I do believe that it does talk about the coolant. Let me just double check. Nope. Okay. So I've asked that this be added, that it does need to be cooled and that it needs to be surrounded by water. So when we look at it, it detects, it's the exact same setup as the nuclear setup. It says you need uranium or plutonium or any kind of radioactive fuel. So that would also include Stardust. So if I plunk in I'm going to plunk in my coolant cells first, and then my Stardust, and just confirm that I'm on the port. There we go. We are waiting for, why didn't the coolant go down too? We'll just pull it down manually. Oh, because I don't have the reactor on. All right, let's focus the reactor on creating power. There we go. We get our 30 seconds per coolant cell. And one of these will last for, I believe it's 32 seconds is what a Stardust will work for. So the 18 I have left will give me another 9 minutes and 36 seconds of power. I'm not sure if it's balanced yet. This is still relatively newer. Given the amount of work and resources and materials for the cost, it's a great bang for the buck. There's no question about that. But it doesn't last long. That's the one challenge that I'm having with this, is that all that to get 32 seconds of power. Again, if you need it for a short period of time, this is perfect. But it's definitely not going to be a renewal source. So you're going to have to look at it for your needs. Based on, again, if you're going into the nether or you're going into the end, and you need easy power quickly, you're already geomining, well, then this makes sense. I mean, you're getting 1,000 joules per second, more than enough to handle anything that you're doing for geomining or in the nether. So I'd say it's a pretty good short-term power solution. Long-term, obviously not, because the Stardust is not renewable, and you can't get it fast enough to keep this reactor going. It took me roughly, in the process of mining everything, when I went down to the list, while it's 15th on the list, it is actually probably the 9th thing that got mined, but it took almost 10 minutes to get to it on a level 1 geominer. All right, let's move on. All right, let's move on to the next great Dynatech invention. How many of you like to play with the exotic garden food, fruit, vegetables, right? You make stuff in the juicer and in the kitchen, and you need, for example, cilantro. You're making a sandwich, you want cilantro, so you sit here and you bone meal it like this, right? And you get some. But you can't replant cilantro to grow it, right? It's just a head. You can't do it. Well, there is a new machine called the Seed Plucker. Put in the actual fruit or vegetables of the exotic garden items, and I believe it's in 10 seconds, you're going to get yourself a new plant. Now, stuff like, for example, the lime, the orange, the peach, those already grow their own saplings. So the ones that have trees come out, you don't have to worry about. You already get the extra saplings. But if you need to create a massive cilantro farm for whatever reason, and you're using androids to harvest it with bone mealing, you can only get one plant previously. You had to go find another one or break grass all day long until you got another one. Now, you simply put it in a seed plucker. All of them work. The tree ones, again, if you get your first one, you simply plant the tree, harvest the tree, you're going to get 4 or 5 more. Yes, could you take the fruit, throw it in here and get one? Absolutely. So this works on all the exotic garden plants. It also works on vanilla items, but it's kind of pointless because all you have to do in vanilla, like for pumpkin, is hit E and put it in your crafting thing and getting out. So don't use it for vanilla. And besides, with the seed plucker vanilla items for pumpkin, you get 1 seed for a whole pumpkin. In vanilla, you get 4. It will work on watermelon slices. You'll get 1 for the seed. But again, that's just laziness, and you can't do anything with the seeds except manually plant them anyway. So don't waste your time. Use this specifically for the exotic garden plants. All right, let's move on. All right, everybody, we have one more update for you for today. There's been a lot of questions about how do the bee material hives work? How do you get the resources? What does this do? So let's get back into the guide here real quick. And we are going to show you and walk you through. So first, a material hive, this is what powers bees, right? You put the bees in there. You're going to put in a resource, and this is what generates additional material. Now, I do need to tell you, you have to wear a hazmat suit when holding a material hive, or you will start taking radiation poisoning. So you place down the hive, and here's how the hive works. You put whatever item it is you want to have the bees create. So if it's coal, up here. If it's redstone, if it's iron ingots, if it's lead ingots, if it's aluminum, whatever it is. And on the wiki, there's a complete list of everything that you can get done in here. Even reinforced ingots are an option. You put in 64 of those items up there. Those 64 must stay in there If you take one out, the hive will not reproduce anymore after the current cycle is done. There are 3 different types of bees. There's a plain bee, there is a robotic bee, and there's an advanced robotic bee. Each one has different crafting requirements. The advanced robotic bee is pretty expensive compared to the regular bee, where you simply use a scoop and catch the bee mid-flight. Now, there are ways to speed up the hives. By default, any one bee, whether it's plain bee, robotic bee, or advanced, when you put in just one. So let's go ahead and start a hive up here. All right, I want it to produce coal for me. I'm going to take one bee, put it in. By default, the time is 30 minutes with one of each bee. Now the advanced, I think, is actually 29.59 when I did the math. That it popped up. Maybe it was 30, but either way, any one bee starting off starts at 30 minutes. You can speed this up by adding more bees. So if you have a bee farm and you don't want to take the time to craft everything that requires the robotic or advanced robotic bees, you can do that, right? Let's go ahead and just grab some coal here. All right. Why didn't my middle shift click work? Oh, I'm not in creative. All right. There we go. So let's start a new hive. Let's say I want to put in 2 bees. Okay, we'll start with 2 bees. We'll make it produce coal. It should start at 29.58. Yep, 29.58. So each additional plain bee that you add to the material hive will reduce the cycle to duplicate one more coal for you by 2 seconds. So if you were to put in a stack of 64 regular bees, instead of 30 minutes to recreate coal, it'll take 27 minutes and 54 seconds. If you put in 2 stacks of regular bees, that time drops to 25 minutes and 48 seconds. So to catch 128 plain bees in a wild, if you've got a bee farm, shouldn't take you too long. So every 25.5 minutes, you're getting another piece of coal. Now, one of those, obviously, that's not huge, but if you were to build, say, 15 or 20 of these, well, that's not too bad. You're getting coal, 1 a minute. It's not so much on the vanilla items that you got to look at, it's the Slimefun items, because you can stick 64 reinforced ingots in there. That's where I kind of look at the material hive being used is on the Slimefun items more than on vanilla. All right, let's move on. What about the robotic bee? Let's go ahead and clear some of these out. Hey guys, how you doing? Nice to see you. I just need some I need some coal. There we go. Okay. So let's plug in a robotic bee. Okay, if I plug in one robotic bee, we know it's a start time of 30 minutes. If you were to go to a stack of 64, that time drops to 22 minutes and 38 seconds. So for every robotic bee you add, the following cycle drops by 7 seconds. If you were to put 2 stacks of robotic bees in, you're going to drop down to 15 minutes and 16 seconds to complete this cycle of getting myself one more of whatever I put up here. So that cuts it in half by going to robotic bees. So when you look at the recipe for robotic bees, it's a little bit pricier. I mean, it's 5 reinforced plates, a machine core, machine scrap from a regular Android being scrapped, and 2 Vex gems. But you can still generate a serious amount of resources by building these. And if you've got the time and energy to kill, if you've got a Vex farm somehow where you can get a lot of Vex and you've got looting 10 on the Sword of Beheading, hey, good luck. I think it could be done. What about the advanced robotic bee, right? The mother of all bees. It's unbelievable. All right. Let's grab ourselves an advanced robotic bee. So again, okay, it is exactly 30 minutes. If I were to put in a stack of 64, the resource renewal cycle drops down to 19 minutes and 30 seconds. So each additional advanced robotic bee drops the cycle by 10 seconds. If you were to go to 2 stacks of advanced robotic bees, you're down to 9 minutes for resource renewal. But again, you're going to put in a lot more effort here in the advanced robotic bees. 3 reinforced plates, 2 flight gems. You know, a flight gem is already expensive. A nuclear, this is a 10 or an 11. This is expensive. Blistering ingots, the 2 24-karat blocks, the Vex gem, 2 netherite ingots, and a nuclear reactor. I mean, this is really up there. 2 of those. Then 2 more 24-karat blocks and an ancient machine core, which is nothing. So that's really up there on the price, but then you get your time down. I'm sorry, I think I said 7 minutes. It's actually 9. If I said 7, my apologies. It's 9 minutes for 2 stacks of robotic bees. But that's every 9 minutes, you're generating a reinforced ingot. You're generating a hardened steel ingot. You're generating Damascus steel ingots. Whatever it happens to be, every 9 minutes. So if your server were to run, let's say, over the course of 9 hours, hey, you got yourself a stack. 9 hours and 36 minutes, you got yourself a stack of reinforced ingots. And if you're playing single player like I am, and your server's in your basement, and you're in the spawn chunks, well, that runs 24/7. So every 9 minutes, 24/7 of the day, you're getting another reinforced ingot. Not bad. So again, just a quick summary. Advanced robotic, every bee you add to the hive drops it by 10 seconds. The robotic bee drops it 7 seconds, and a plain bee drops it 2. Guys, I really hope that helped you understand more, not just about the bees, but a lot more of the great features in Dynatech. We've got another one that's coming up here shortly that I want to talk about, but I'm asking a couple questions on the dev. I want to get the answers right before I bring them to you. So thanks for watching. I appreciate all that you do for the channel and for the series. Don't forget to go Boomer or go home. We'll see you later.